One of the shoes I've had for a really long time but still haven't reviewed is the Air Jordan 5 Grape. But that's what I want to do right here with this broken box and beautiful pair of shoes. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Matt from Shoe Nation back with another review. As always, today we are reviewing the Air Jordan 5 Grape, which originally released on June 21st, 2025, with a retail price of $215, which, let's be honest, that's really steep for this pair of shoes. Just Jordan Brand keeps raising the prices on stuff. Gamma 11's at like $230, so you're paying around $243 after tax. Same with these, you're probably paying around $228 after tax for a new pair of shoes, which is a lot. They've always been expensive historically, but you know me, I didn't end up paying that much. Actually, you know, I kind of did, because when these originally released, I ended up hitting them on retail at Foot Locker, and I think Foot Locker charges for shipping, unlike Nike, so I had to pay like a lot for this pair of shoes, like $238. But luckily I just returned them because I was like, man, this is a lot for a pair of shoes. And they luckily ended up sitting, so I decided I can grab these on the resale market, or the used resale market, I guess. And I got them on Mercari for only $104. So I paid over 50% off for these pair of shoes. I know it has a beat up box, I know they're used, but I really don't care. I'm always there for a deal, so that's why I decided to grab these. If you don't know, these are an actual OG colorway, all the way back from 1999, so 36 years ago, 10 years before I was born. And speaking of 1990, they decided to release 16 years later in 2006. But they said, let's change it up a little bit. Let's put a Jumpman on the back instead of a Nike Air on the back, which I will show you with the OG branding. And they decided, you know what, 7 years later, let's release it again the exact same way, not like the OG. Let's put a Jumpman on the back. Someone tell me in the comments if it was that era, like 2006, 2013, the Jumpman was more popular than Nike Air. I wasn't into shoes back then at all, so let me know, because that would help a lot. So I decided in 2018, 5 years after the previous retro in 2013, they said, hey, why don't we release the shoe, put a little gimmick with it. And the gimmick they had was to pay homage to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith, when he used to wear the 90s pair back in the TV show without the laces. So what they did is they actually released the shoe without the shoelaces. That's really all it was. Oh, and they also actually put the OG branding with the Nike Air on the back this time, but with no shoelaces. So you can kind of see why a lot of people didn't like that pair and some people did like that pair. Personally, for me, that's like, I would not want to buy that pair, and I didn't end up buying that pair. But anyway, decided 7 years later in 2025, we'll finally release the actual OG pair, trying to make it OG as possible. So they decided, you know what, 35 years later, let's just finally release one that people actually want. So they decided to do that. And a little fun fact about this shoe, Michael Jordan actually never wore this in an NBA game. He only wore this in a Nike photo shoot, which he actually put on a Wheaties box. So that's really just a fun fact I wanted to throw in there for you. And without further ado, why don't we actually just get into the shoes right now instead of talking about them so much. So we do have the pair of shoes right here with the beat up box. And no, I didn't punch this because I was mad, but make sure, size 11, you always check your size. That's one thing I have to say. Make sure you always check your size. Opening the box, we do have the black paper. We do have the divider right here, as you can see. And then the best part, we've got the actual shoe right here. The Air Jordan 5 Grape, which we do have the purple tongue with the teal Jumpman, the lace locks that come with it, the white laces, the toe box inside the shoe, behind the shoe with the Nike Air. Now I was talking about this Nike Air, how they had the retro Jumpman in there instead. I don't know why they decided to release that twice without it, without the Nike Air, but they did. So don't ask me why they did it, ask them. And then underneath, we do have the Jumpman Nike. They are used, so again, they are going to be a little dirty. But one of my favorite parts about this shoe I saw was this teal right here inside the tongue, and then inside as well. I thought that was really good looking. And then the black as well right here on the sock liner. Now, one thing they did really great with this shoe was just the design of it and the colorway. Tinker Hatfield did a really good job with this. This really does give like a 90s retro look to it, which I think is so sick. So that's another reason I decided to grab these shoes. Besides the fact that it's a majority white shoe and I usually prefer that, I just think the colorway they did on this was really, really cool. A lot of pairs of Jordans that I have, a lot of shoes I have are usually white, red, and black. So this is kind of different for me, but I'm really glad that they decided to retro this as well. Another reason is because the last retro of this that I would have probably got would have probably been in 2013, because you know how I said when we get the Will Smith pair. So back in 2013 would have been the other pair, the other actual pair I could have actually been able to grab, because there's no way I'm grabbing the 2006 pair. That would just crumble the moment I put it on my feet and try to take a step. But the 2013 pair was the last one that came out that I actually would have bought. And I'm glad that they decided to release these, because if I would have bought that pair, they would have been a lot more prone to crumbling, versus these will have a lot longer life. And also the fact that it is OG as possible is definitely a reason I'm really glad that they decided to release it again. I can grab it. So I do want to put that out there. Let me get out the other pair of shoes right here. So we do have both of them, and they are really, really clean. Again, they're used, but they're pretty lightly used, I will say. And then when it comes to outfits with these, I will probably say probably a light pair of jeans, a black shirt, and then these shoes. There is some black on the shoe to go with that. I think that would be just a really clean, easy fit. You could wear a white shirt as well, light jeans, and these. That would look really, really well. You know, I always keep it simple with the fits around here. When it comes to rating these shoes, I will give this shoe an 8 out of 10. Again, I am really, really glad that they decided to release this pair again. I just think the colorway is really, really dope. I was really excited when they said that these were gonna come back out. And luckily they came out in such a great way with the OG branding, and they also sat as well. So I was able to grab them under retail for sure. But with no more talking about the shoe, why don't we just go to that on foot right now. So that was Air Jordan 5 Grape. Now when it comes to sizing with these, I would say go true to size. They just have a normal foot, nothing like wide, or I don't even know if it's like considered narrow, but it would just be a normal foot, I guess. So size 11 is what I went true to size. So I would go true to size on this pair of shoes. And that's all I really got to say about the Air Jordan 5 Grape. I think it's a really great pair of shoes. Grape. Yeah, it's a really great pair of shoes. It's a great pair. And yeah, what do you think about this pair if you actually picked these up when they did come out? Because when these did come out, again, I did buy them, but I actually returned them. So I decided to grab them again, because I was looking for these and the Fire Reds for a while. I still haven't got the Fire Reds. It's okay if I don't, because I do have a lot of white and red. But this pair for me, it's like I really want to get this one, because I don't have any other shoes like this in my collection. So it was cool to be able to fall upon these for only about $104. It did come with the box. I kind of wish it didn't. That way I could probably get them probably even cheaper, probably like 80 bucks at that point. But I got the box. It is what it is. But let me know what you thought about this pair of shoes. If you actually had any of the other pairs, if you like that Will Smith pair that did come out. And can you please tell me, why did they put the Jumpman so many times back in the 2006, 2013? Why did they do that twice? Why would they just not give us the OG branding? I feel like people probably don't even know, but maybe it was like a big thing around that era to have the Jumpman instead of the Nike Air. And let me know if you had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air pair, and if you actually like that pair too, because I would like to hear how that shoe is compared to this one. I imagine it's probably very similar, besides just no laces. But that's all I got to say about these shoes. Matt from Shoe Nation here. Thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you next time. Bye.